What do you got for me?
What's wrong with you people?
I got nothing for you.
What's wrong?
You're not David. How y'all feel this morning? I feel rotten. That's how I feel. Well, that was enough for me. We could have had the benediction right there. That was so good.
What's going on, everyone, and welcome to The Reformatory, the podcast for the local church and by the local church, and we are your local churchmen. My name is Josh, and I'm here, as always, with the man, the myth, the legend, the captain, Jack Barry. Jack, decked out in Browns gear, celebrating early, or perhaps getting the grieving process started before you need to. Looking good, my man. It's good to see you.
Good to see you as well. Yeah, starting the depression early for the slide that will come eventually this fall. We'll see. Here's the thing. Here's the thing that makes me excited.
Okay.
Our new coach is more animated, and he seems like he wants to motivate the team, and that's good.
Okay.
But it's always, dude, this happens every year.
Yep.
You get a new coach.
Yep.
You get a new QB. You get some new player who
new
feels
hopes,
like they could
new dreams.
they can just run through a wall for you, and they completely just fall straight on their rear end, and nothing happens. So we'll see.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Browns fans don't ever get through all of the stages of grief because they keep having to start over.
Exactly.
And it's hard. It's hard getting to acceptance when you keep having to reset the playing field. And work through the first two or three. So, but seriously. I get it, man. I get it. I'm sorry. Consistency is good. And in the world we live in, consistency is not something that you have often. So at least you know what to expect. That's a good thing.
True.
Just like we know what to expect, Jack, in that we have the best listeners in the world. Dare I say, in the history of Reformdom, the Reformatory listeners are elite. They are the best because not only do they just support us with their listens, they support us with their hard-earned cash. And we have a name to shout out through the halls of the podcast. One that has joined the ranks of the Podluck, the Patreon, the all-exclusive, the red carpet behind the velvet rope room that is the Reformatory Patreon page. We have one Nathan Mailer. Nathan, the man, the legend, in his own right. And he has joined the Patreon, and he is currently enjoying all of the rights thereunto that are now his by right because of his hard-earned fiver, the $5 holler that he has bequeathed to the Reformatory. We bless you, sir. We thank you. And we hope that you enjoy it, man. And, anybody else that's wanting to get in on the all-access action that is the Podluck, it's $5 a month. That's all it is. It's the cheapest around. It's going to be worth it. You get a lot of good stuff over there on the Podluck. We have a lot of fun over there. And if you want more, the more laid-back, hair-down version of the Reformatory, head on over to the Podluck for $5 a month. That's all that it takes. So with that, my friends, Nathan Mailer, we thank you for your patronage, and your name has been hallowed.
It's hallowed, sir.
Hallowed through the halls of the podcast. Jack, my man, we got to get to business, and before we do, it's time for everyone's favorite segment. Don't forget to eat your instant grams.
And now's the time you've all been waiting for. The Reformatory Podcast presents Don't Forget to Eat Your Instagrams with your hosts, Josh Loftus and Jack Barry. And remember, kids, it's not heresy if you believe it hard enough.
This is Don't Forget to Eat Your Instagrams. Remember, kids, it's not heresy if you believe it hard enough. That's how it works. Jack, I want to put out a call to our listeners. I want someone to take that theme song and put it to like a trap beat. Like a hip-hop beat. I feel like that would go hard. No. I feel like a little remix, little Instagram intro remix. If anyone out there's got the skill, that put that to a nice remix, a nice trap beat, maybe a little hip-hop groove, dude.
I feel like
that
would
would be
like
amazing.
you're making an Instagram even as we speak when you're trying to get this out to the people.
That would be
I don't
awesome.
know. I don't know. We'll see.
I'm just an ideas guy, man. I'm just an ideas guy. All right. I can hear it. Like who's that music guy that like he doesn't play an instrument, he's not a musician, but people pay him hundreds of thousands of dollars just to listen to their music. He's got the he's got the big beard. What's his name? Reuben something Reuben.
Yes, Rick Rubin.
Rick Rubin. I'm the Rick Rubin of podcast ideas. That's what I am. All right. I give you the ideas, run with them, make them your own. Right. All right. Well, speaking of delusional takes. We're going to head on over and see what the white women of Christian podcast are doing here.
Oh, hey guys, welcome to Stewards of the Mysteries. My special guest today is Dr. Francis Smiles, and we're going to talk about some crazy stuff, like about the warlock that actually tracked me down by traveling through the earth. And we're going to talk about Dr. Miles and how witches almost took him out by using the earth against him to bury him alive. And then we're going to talk about many other crazy things, including how you can tap into the strength of the earth, not as a mother earth worshiper, but as the son of God whom all creation is groaning for. Look, we've got some really great stuff here because we're not only going to share these just insane, true life stories, but we're bringing some teaching in so that you can actually go, oh, that's how you do it. Because we don't want to just leave you with stories here. We actually want to leave you empowered. So check out this episode.
I mean, at least there's some teaching. So that's good.
Can I say something?
Yeah, okay.
Can I say something?
All right, yeah.
In the famous words of Rick James, cocaine's a hell of a drug. All right, cocaine is a hell of a drug, people. Like
kids
what?
program.
Like what on earth are you talking about, woman?
Did she
like
say that we are the sons of God of whom all creation groans for?
Yeah, she absolutely
I
said that.
thought I heard that right. I'm like, wait a second. That's not talking about me.
But my gosh.
Dude, here, cut her some slack. She's under attack, dude. She's got warlocks and witches traveling through the earth.
Didn't she
take
say
her
some
podcast platform? Okay.
Didn't she? Wasn't that the woman who talked about like some invisible husband she doesn't have trying to kill her or something like that?
Yeah, that's how I found this, dude. Yeah,
gosh.
I posted a little reel over on the Insta.
Dude.
Yeah. So
cocaine's a hell of a drug, Josh.
I'm sure she's fun in real life, man. I'm sure she's fun in real life.
Does something to you.
You know what you should not be doing? Okay. Definitely cocaine. Don't be doing that. But also, Jack, something that we need to be very sure that we do not do as Christians. You know when we are admonished in the word, right?
Yeah.
To fill ourselves with the word of God, right? So that through our minds, through our hearts, right? The Lord sanctifies us through his word, right? When the Bible talks about that, it does not mean that we should be physically eating the Bible.
Oh, no.
Eat it. When you eat this, the power of God is going to go inside of you.
Okay, so just for our audio,
is this a magic show?
Our audio
a magic show happening?
For our audio listeners only, what is happening here is we have a quote unquote pastor, with a couple people on stage. One young lady is holding the Bible, and this pastor has just torn out a page of the Bible, with which he turns to a young man that is on stage with him, hands it to him, and admonishes him pastorally to eat it, as in eat the page of the Bible that he just handed to him. Let's continue here.
You eat this, the power of God is going to go inside of you. Go ahead, take your time. Come on, raise the music up. Thank you. We'll get you a page. Come on, come on, come on, come on.
What?
Yeah, swallow
Swallow it. And then he just blows on his face.
Oh my gosh.
Begin to scream wisdom to.
All right. So my question is this: which translation do you think tastes the best? If you had to eat a translation, because here's the thing: I'm an ESV guy. All right, ESV through and through. Love the ESV. I know that thing tastes like dirt. I know it, dude. If I have to eat a Bible, if I'm eating pages, I'm probably going for something light and fruity, something like the New Living Translation, right? Something like, if I really want to get a stomach ache, the Message. Okay. So yeah. Leave a comment.
He kind of sounded like Dusty Rhodes. That pastor kind of sounded like Dusty Rhodes for a second. Yeah, eat this, baby. Go ahead, eat that Bible, baby. It's so ridiculous.
Oh my goodness. The internet forgets nothing, and that should be a warning to all of us. Jack, my friend, we're going to get on to some actual important stuff here. And that is talking about the difference between peacekeepers, those that seek to keep the peace, versus peacemakers, those that seek to make peace. And within the local church, it is vitally important that those of us that serve in any capacity whatsoever, if you are a member at a local church and you are engaged in relationships in the local church, it is vital that you understand the difference between the two, because they are not the same. And we're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about the importance of why we need to understand which is which, and which we would say is the most is the actual biblical understanding, right? Because let's be real. You spend any amount of time in the local church, you're going to run into situations in which peace needs to be made. You are in an environment, in a family, and family fights sometimes. We are sinful, fallen people that are redeemed by the blood of Christ, and we are admonished to live in community with one another. Because we are not glorified yet, because this is not heaven, this is not our home, and Christ has not made all things new yet. We live in the middle ground, and yet we are redeemed. It's the already not yet, right? We are indeed saved, but we still deal with sin and the proclivities of a fallen heart. So that creates scenarios and events in the local church that require peace to be made and peace to be sought after. And Jack, there is a large difference, and I know you and I have experienced both of these. There's a large difference between someone who simply seeks to keep the peace versus someone who intentionally seeks to make peace among brothers and sisters in Christ. And we're going to talk about the difference between the two. So we're going to talk about peacekeepers first. And we've got three. And obviously, whenever we do, the Baptist 3 points, right? There's always more. It's never exclusively just what we're talking about, but these are some observations that we have found to be true in our own lives and our own dealings with folks in the local church. And again, just preface this episode's obviously for everybody, right? We talk to pastors a lot in this. We talk to deacons. This episode is intentionally for anyone, because we all, as members of the local church, are going to run into scenarios like this, and we are all called in the ways that God has called us to make peace among the brethren. That's something that we should be seeking to do. So we're going to talk about peacekeepers first. Jack, my friend, give us the first distinction, if you will, of a peacekeeper.
Yeah. So the first distinction of a peacekeeper is to see conflict as the ultimate thing to be avoided.
Yeah, so peacekeepers actively seek to avoid conflict and see conflict as being kind of the end-all, be-all of the thing that is wrong in the scenario. Now, Jack, if we are constantly attempting to avoid conflict within the local church and seeing conflict in and of itself as the issue, as the thing to be avoided, how is that going to practically affect our abilities to, I would say, interact biblically with one another as brothers and sisters.
Yeah, I think that here's the thing too. I'm gonna take a page out
Don't eat
of a guy that I
Just so if you're going to
There's
take
a guy
it, keep it outside the stomach.
There's a guy named Patrick. This is where I think this is important. Where you do, I know a lot of the time we do include and do say that incorporating corporate business models into the local church is not helpful. I will say this: This is not that, but there is a guy named Patrick Lencioni, I think is how you pronounce his last name. He has a book. It's called "The 5 Dysfunctions of a Team," and he basically used it in a way. I think he's Catholic. We can kind of maybe forgive him for that, but anyway,
I mean, we can. God won't. I'm sorry.
Oh my god!
I'm sorry. That was right
anyway,
there. I had to take it. I'm sorry.
So he has this thing where he says that if you are always avoiding conflict, like healthier teams will not avoid conflict. They'll actually step into it and they'll take conflict on and they'll do it in a healthier way. So if I have something that I need to say to the team, I'll do it in a healthy way. And healthy. I mean, this goes totally into the church. When you have a healthy elder team, you guys can have good conflict.
Yes,
because you guys are trusting each other, and that trust is already there, and you're building that trust through having good conflict and working those things out with one another.
Yes,
I would say this.
Yes,
peacekeeping to see like conflict to just be avoided, that's not going to help you grow at all, to be quite honest. Exactly. I just don't think it will. Now there's a kind of more church history lesson on the other side of this that I'll talk about, but he was a reformer, but he was more in the peacemaking category versus the peacekeeping category. But I will say, if you are going to have any kind of forward momentum into building any kind of team, and I would say in the church, this is always the case because we're always a family, you need to have good, healthy conflict. And if we're always going to avoid conflict, nobody's ever going to hear each other out. Nobody's ever going to actually have reconciliation happen in their life. So
absolutely. Yeah, that's 100% correct, man. Yeah. If we are constantly attempting to avoid conflict, then we are not going to ever have the necessary conversations that need to happen, because part of being in community as brothers and sisters means that you are holding each other accountable. And if conflict is the end all be all of the thing that you are trying to avoid, then when it comes time to hold somebody accountable, when it comes time to call someone out that is actively living in sin or in some way has sinned against you, that's conflict. So we want to avoid conflict because conflict in and of itself is bad. So we're not going to do that, right? Conflict can be bad, but conflict can also be good, right? And a necessary thing. Right. So peacekeepers see conflict as the ultimate thing to be avoided, whereas peacemakers understand that conflict sometimes is necessary. And it's not that we seek conflict out. I think there are some individuals that have this understanding. Well, not all conflict is bad, so I'm going to make every situation I can confrontational. That's just being a rabble rouser. That's being immature. Right? That's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about is having the discernment to understand there's going to be conflict here. And this conflict is actually good. It's good that we feel this tension because it's going to result in something good. Right?
Yeah.
The purity of the metal is refined when you apply heat to it. And that's where we make the distinction between good conflict and bad conflict. And that is this conflict producing more light than heat? Right? Because some conflict, if it's coming out of a motivation of sin, and that is, two people are slighted and they're angry at each other and they're both responding unbiblically and there's conflict, that's just creating heat. There's no light there. right? But if the truth of the Word of God is what we are utilizing to manage our conversations, our interactions, then that conflict is going to create light. Even though there's a little bit of heat, it's going to bring light to the room. It's going to bring clarity, right? And we're going to be able to see things in a more objective and biblical way than before, right? So peacekeepers see conflict as the thing that needs to be avoided. Let's not, dude, we don't want any conflict, right? Conflict is bad. Conflict, it means that we're not unified. Not necessarily, right? Like you said, there has been many times, like in ministry, and even with the elder team that I'm with now, which I love them to death. We've had conflict. We've had times in our elders meetings where we've had to get down with some conversation, and we did not agree. But because we were approaching that disagreement with the desire to, one, be on the same page, that should be the desire that we are unified, and two, we're utilizing scriptures as our barometers of truth, not our feelings, that conflict brought light and not just heat, right? And that's what good conflict does. So peacemakers understand that sometimes conflict is necessary. Jack, give us the second thing that peacekeepers misunderstand.
The second thing that peacekeepers misunderstand is desire to manage feelings over fellowship.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's a big one, right? Because if you are constantly trying, one, to avoid conflict, usually, at least what I have found, is one of the main reasons you're doing that is because you feel as if it is your job to manage people's feelings. And I think there's a lot of people in the local church, whether they want to admit it or not, if you are listening to this, because I know I can struggle with this too, and like it's got to get beaten out of us, this idea and this social expectation that I think is put on us that it is your job to manage people's feelings, and it's not, right? Again, this isn't just an excuse to behave and act and speak however you want, to heck with people's feelings because it's not my job to manage them. Okay, well, no, but it's your job to, display the fruits of the Spirit. It's your job to be Christian, right? You might not be called to manage their feelings, but you are called to manage your conduct, right? And so we need to keep that in mind. But peacekeepers put feelings over fellowship. And they think that as long as everyone's best friends, as long as everyone's getting along, as long as everyone has their feelings kind of all in this, soft quilted Easter basket where it can't be hurt, then our fellowship's going to be good. That's what fellowship is that everyone's lovey-dovey toward each other. And if the foundation of your fellowship is your feelings, you have no foundation at all.
Yeah.
Because the minute your feelings change toward one another, your fellowship is going to be affected. We need a stronger and a deeper foundation for our fellowship than vibes and feelings.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that is not a good foundation at all. It is as fickle as, some guy that wants you to eat pages of the Bible, right? What's he going to do next week? Okay. It's just, it's not going to work, right? So that's what peacekeepers seek, and I think misunderstand, is they have this desire to manage feelings over fellowship. But peacemakers, those that seek to make peace, right, create peace where there is none, they don't place feelings above fellowship. They understand that, just because someone's feelings is hurt, that does not give us credence to break fellowship. That does not give us then an excuse to act however we want. We see the foundation of fellowship as being something deeper than just what we feel. It's what we know, right? And it's the truth of what we are united by. And it's not our feelings, but it's the truth of the gospel. It's the blood of Christ, right? And Jack, those two things are very, very different, and a lot of strife can happen in the local church when we place those feelings over fellowship. Would you agree to that, my friend? As someone who like me did their time in Acts 29, would you agree that feelings over fellowship is a bad thing?
Yeah. Well, it depends on how those feelings were being expressed too, because
absolutely.
those feelings were being expressed to other elders as being a jerk or overbearing or domineering. Yeah, you got problems, and we need to hash those problems out effectively and through possibly, an elder vote and taking it to the congregation and talking through that, because unrepentant feelings like that's not going to work in a local church and help out the sheep of that local church. Now, when you're placing fellowship over feelings, that's a different category. That means that I have a specific feeling towards a certain person, but I know that they're still my brother in Christ. That is a different kind of unity and peace that you might have than just the surface level things. Like, everything has a root, right? Your feelings have a root. Why, and that's what we should be trying to get to the bottom of, is why am I feeling this way about a certain person? What's going on there? And that's why you should probably have healthy conflict. And then on top of it, your feelings should lead you to reconciliation, not avoid reconciliation. Yeah. So, I think that's an important dynamic as well, too. So,
which leads perfectly into our third and final point, Jack, with peacekeepers. Why don't you give it to the people?
Yeah. Peacekeepers will avoid saying the hard thing if it means relational difficulty.
Yeah. 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 And that within the local church is especially dangerous when we begin to not speak truth in situations where truth is needed to be spoken, because we're afraid of what that will do relationally.
Yeah.
Right. Because here's just the truth. And I think this is a hard thing to say and a hard thing to hear, but it, again, like, we're not putting feelings over fellowship here, right? If the relationship that you have with somebody is able to be severed or broken by truth, then it was no relationship at all. It was something fake. Again, based on feelings, vibes, convenience, selfishness. Because true relationships that are rooted in the gospel and rooted in the unity that comes through the blood of Jesus Christ are not broken by truth, but strengthened by it. And if we have this mentality within the local church of avoiding saying hard things to people that need to hear it because we're afraid of what that's going to do to the relationship, then we're going to have a local church filled with superficial relationships.
Yeah.
And that's not a healthy local church. And that's not what membership looks like in the local church, right?
Yeah.
We can't afford to do that. So peacekeepers, those that are, just trying to keep peace, will often avoid saying those hard things because of what they're either afraid it will do the relationship or what it will do to the relationship, because the relationship is not on any foundation that's able to carry any amount of weight, right? Whereas peacemakers understand that true peace comes through gracious truth. Again, it's not just what you say, it's how you say it. So it's truth, yes, but it's truth that is spoken in love, right? You can be you can speak in the tongues of angels, you can speak absolute truth, but if you say it without love, you might as well just be, clanging a gong until their eardrums burst. You're going to be useless, right? So it needs to be true, but it needs to be grace-filled truth. But peacemakers, if we're going to live as peacemakers, as Christ admonishes us to do in the Beatitudes, Matthew 5, right? Be a peacemaker, then we cannot avoid saying the hard things that need to be said to our brothers and sisters, because that just makes the relationship stronger when we do that. When we're able to say those things and we're able to receive those things with humility, the relationship after that, after peace is made through that process, dude, that relationship's going to be so much stronger. That's just another layer of armor that is over that relationship because it's been tested yet again. Right?
Yeah.
And we need the local church full of those types of relationships.
Yeah, I can say that I can see two things. I can see one biblical representation of these dynamics happening, and then I can see one example from like church history. So one example biblically that I can see who is the atypical peacekeeper and who's the atypical peacemaker. Like absolutely, it's going to be the Pharisees who are going to be the absolute atypical peacekeepers. There's no doubt about that. And the absolute atypical peacemaker is going to be Jesus.
Absolutely.
Like look at all of those interactions scripturally that you go to. Like the Pharisees are just trying to make sure we don't have any rabble rousers. We just keep the peace with the Romans. We got a good thing going here. We got the temple set up. They don't mess with us. We got collaboration happening. Why are you doing this, Jesus? Why are you trying to? Why are you trying to? You
got a good thing going here, man.
yeah, and they'll do stuff, and they'll frame it the way that they framed it, right? And ultimately, that peacekeeping led to them doing stupid stuff, like killing Jesus, like leading people away from following Jesus to wanting to kill him and riling him up. So that's the biblical side of things. I think the atypical peacemaker that I see just off the top of my head, because we went over this at the beginning of the year with my local church, where we do like a profile, a biography of somebody, is Martin Bucer from the Reformation. If you read anything about Martin Bucer, he was trying so hard during the Reformation period, where Martin Luther was not getting along with Zwingli on like one thing, and I think it was like communion, and he was trying to bring them together and like, okay, say what you want to say right now.
Yep.
And we need to try and figure this out. Like he was a very much a guy who was trying to basically take reformational figures and coach them up again. He did this with John Calvin, actually. John Calvin was, if anybody knows this, John Calvin, when he first got to Geneva, huge jerk. Huge jerk. And then Martin Bucer was like, hey, I think the city council, something happened with the city council at Geneva, as usually the tale goes. And Martin Bucer invited John Calvin to come and pastor in, I can't remember, I think it was Strasbourg where Bucer was, and basically pastor over the Swiss people, the refugees who were leaving because of persecution that was happening with the Roman Catholic Church. And then Bucer would start to encourage him and mentor him and stuff like that. And then he went back to Geneva a whole lot better because he had an actual peacemaker who was mentoring him to make peace.
Yep.
And so sometimes if you are terrible at making peace, sometimes you just have to defect and say, okay, I need help here. I need mentorship. I need discipleship in this.
Yep.
And so, I think that's a lesson for us as well too. If we do not know how to be good peacemakers, like we need to look at men, especially our elders in the local church, or just examples of people in the local church, and say, how do I do this effectively? Without compromising, without going completely pharisaical on this and just saying, forget everybody else, I'm right on this. I think those are two things that I look at when I look at this list that really kind of engages me, one biblically and then one from church history. So,
no, absolutely. Yeah. And we can't lose the motivation for why we do this, right? Again, it's not to manage feelings. It's not to just create a church that's full of, a Disney Channel level of fun and friendship, right? Ephesians chapter 4 speaks of the new life that we have in Christ. And starting in verse 20, it says, 22. It says, put off your old self, which belongs to your former manner of life and is corrupt through deceitful desires, and be renewed in the spirit of your minds, and to put on the new self, created after the likeness of God in true righteousness and holiness. And then verse 25 says this. It says, therefore, having put away falsehood, let each of you speak the truth with his neighbor. Why? Not to manage feelings, not to create some sort of vibes environment in your church. It says, speak truth with his neighbor, for we are members of one another. That's why. Mm-hmm. Why do we seek to have these relationships within the local church? Why do we seek to make this the foundation? Because the relationship is there. You are members already. You are unified already. The work has been done. Like, the heavy lifting has been done, guys. Jesus bore that on his shoulders and paid for it all, right? You have been reconciled. Enemies, people that were enemies of God, enemies of each other, through Christ, he has reconciled us first to God and then to each other. That's amazing. Our churches are filled with men and women that in many cases don't really have much in common, except we are united by the blood of Christ. And that means something. That means that the foundation of our fellowship, the foundations of our friendships, of our relationships, has the strongest foundation that exists. It's not blood. It's not familial ties. It's not workplace. It's Christ. And that means something. That means that the foundation and the work and the tools are there. We got to utilize them. We got to get ourselves out of the way. Stop being afraid of what people will think. Stop trying to manage feelings and speak truth and seek unity, seek light and not heat. Make peace. Don't just keep peace. And that's what the local church needs, especially in today's day and age, where there are a lot of individuals that are seeking to stir up strife among the brethren. And we see it a lot. And that level of strife that is being stirred up is not going to be combated effectively by peacekeepers, because you cannot keep peace with individuals that do not want it. Right? Yeah. But if we're seeking to make peace, to be peacemakers, and to be intentional in that, we're not going to avoid the hard conversations. We're not going to avoid the conflict. We're going to press into it, because we know that through that furnace, those relationships are forged and tested and come out even stronger. So that's what we should be doing as Christians, is seeking to make peace, not just create it. And the local church will be better off for it, and those relationships will be sweet. The kingdom will be continued to advance, and our experience within the church with our brothers and sisters will be filled with joy, because it's as a foundation of something that's bigger and stronger than us. So, Jack, unless you got anything else, man, I say give the people what they want and get us out of here.
Yeah, if you appreciate Josh and I's attempts at making the local church central to the believer's life, and especially just episodes like this where we talk a little bit in depth about what that looks like at a local church level, you can follow us on the sociables, if you will, the Meta, the Facebook, if you will. The Instagram goes well with chocolate marshmallow, maybe sprinkle a little heresy on top of that.
Try it with a page of the Bible at this point. Like, I don't know, like wrap it up, see what it's like, man. I don't know, maybe we're missing out on something. Yeah.
And then the sociable, formerly known as Twitter X, as well too. You can find us all on those sociables at the tag @ReformatoryPod. You can drop us a direct message, episode idea, comments, questions, concerns, everything along those lines. Josh, you can tell the lovely people how they might support us further in our endeavors here.
Guys, you've all heard this before. We got YouTube. If you want to see this episode as well as listen to it, makes the Instagrams a lot more fun. Head on over to YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, hit the little bell for notifications, as the kids say. We'd appreciate that. You can like this podcast and rate this podcast on Apple and Spotify. Helps the podcast get out to more people. We'd appreciate that. Keep in mind, Pactum Conference, right? Our friends over at the Pactum having a conference first week of October. Jack and I are going to be there. We're having a reformatory meetup. It's going to be legitimate. It's going to be awesome, okay? So we want to see you there. If you are a reformatory listener, we want to see you at the Pactum Conference. One, because we love the Pactum, we like the cut of their jib, and the after party are just going to be great. We're going to find some smoke lounges. It's going to be awesome. We're going to hang out together, have a lot of fellowship. It's going to be a great time. So we want to see you at the Pactum Conference. Head on over to the Pactum website and check out their podcast, check out their website for details. We want to see you there, reformatory listeners. Last but not least, we got a Patreon. You can follow the lead of the legendary Nathan and become a Patreon supporter. $5 holla, that's all it is. If you choose to do so, our pledge to you, as you have heard us make good on this promise, our pledge to you is that your name shall be hallowed.
Hallowed, sir, hallowed.
Hallowed through the halls of the podcast. That is our pledge to you. We thank you all for listening. Go and be a peacemaker in your local church, and we will catch you on the next step of the Reformatory.